Hello and welcome. We are so glad you are here with us today. Today we're going to talk about something really important in English grammar, English conditionals. You might know them as if-then sentences. They're kind of like tools, powerful tools really, that help us talk about possibilities, results, even things that, well, didn't happen.
That's right.
And getting them right can really help you speak and write with, more clarity and confidence.
Absolutely.
So our goal today is basically to make these patterns clear, easy to understand, and give you some practical ways to use them.
It's true. And what's often missed, I think, is that English conditionals are actually much richer, used in more ways than, simple textbooks might show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're not just rules. They're a whole system for connecting a situation with its outcome, like cause and effect.
Right.
We'll look at 5 main types today, and maybe touch on some more complex ways people use them every day.
Okay.
Because understanding these, it really lets you express subtle meanings, different levels of certainty, talk about different times.
Past, present, future.
Exactly. Whether you're just chatting or, in a professional meeting, it's quite versatile.
Okay, so at its heart, a conditional sentence just shows a relationship, right? Like, if one thing happens, the condition, then something else happens, the consequence.
That's the core idea.
But the interesting part is how many ways we have to actually say if-then.
Yeah.
And the way you choose to build your sentence, it depends on lots of things, doesn't it? Like time.
Definitely time. Past, present, or future.
And how likely something is.
Likelihood, yeah. That's crucial. And even how formal or informal you want to sound.
Right. The context matters.
This point about formality and likelihood, it's really important. I mean, think about why this system might seem complex at first.
Okay.
Well, modern studies looking at how native speakers really talk, they show we use many more patterns than just the basic textbook ones.
Ah, so it's more flexible in real life.
Much more. For instance, in really specific, important talks, like, say, in medicine or big business meetings.
High-stakes stuff.
Exactly. The simple forms you learn first. They're only a small part of how people actually communicate. You'll often hear different, even mixed conditional patterns when professionals are discussing serious choices and outcomes. It's all about precision,
Precision, right. Okay, so let's start with the main building blocks then. The 5 core types.
Sounds good. A solid foundation.
We'll go through them one by one with clear examples, but I think the real magic isn't just knowing the structure.
No, it's more than that.
It's understanding where that certainty or lack of it comes in. Okay, first up, the zero conditional.
The foundation.
Yeah, we use this for things that are always true, like scientific facts, general rules. It shows automatic consequences.
Right, things that just happen if the condition is met, no doubt about it.
What I find really interesting about this one is how it captures that absolute certainty. It's not about maybe or if only.
No ifs or buts there.
It's just cause and effect.
Yeah.
Undeniable.
That's exactly right. And think about how critical that is for avoiding confusion, especially in, high-stakes situations.
Like what?
Well, imagine a medical instruction. It might say, if the patient's blood pressure drops below X, administer Y medication.
Okay, yeah. Very direct.
Exactly. There's no room for might or would there. It has to be a predictable, automatic response. That clarity can be, life-saving.
Wow, okay. That really shows why mastering even this simple rule is about more than just grammar.
It's about clear, unambiguous communication when it really counts.
Got it. So the structure is pretty simple, right? You use if or when, and then 2 verbs, both in the present simple tense.
Present simple, present simple.
For example, if you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. Universal scientific fact.
Classic example.
Or when you press this button, the system activates. General rule, automatic action.
Yep.
A practical one for my life, maybe, is with my car. If the fuel light comes on, I stop at the next gas station. It's just an automatic rule for me.
Makes perfect sense. A personal automatic rule.
Okay, so moving on from those universal truths, let's shift to something a bit less certain, but still very real. Future possibilities.
Ah, yes. Moving into the future now.
This is where our first conditional comes in. We use this for things that are, likely to happen in the future. Real possibilities we think will probably come true.
And this type is absolutely crucial for planning.
Planning, yeah.
Making agreements, promising things, especially in a professional context. It helps you talk about predictions and set clear expectations.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine a business discussion about a new project. You might say, if we secure the funding by next month, we will launch the new feature in the fall.
Okay, clear plan, condition, then result.
Exactly. It's based on a condition you think is likely. Or maybe something like, provided the weather cooperates, the outdoor event will proceed as planned. Sets a very clear expectation, dependent on the weather.
That's a perfect example. So the structure here is if plus a verb in the present simple tense.
Right, present simple for the condition, even though it refers to the future.
And then the result part uses will, or sometimes another modal like might or could, followed by the base form of the verb, the infinitive.
Correct.
Like,
Yep.
If it rains tomorrow, we'll postpone the picnic. Real possibility for tomorrow.
Yep, very common use.
Or, if you submit the report by Friday, you'll receive feedback on Monday. That sounds like a likely outcome, maybe even a promise.
Definitely. Setting expectations.
I remember one from an old book I read. Unless you practice regularly, you won't improve.
Using unless.
Yeah, which basically means if you don't practice regularly...
We won't improve.
Right. Still a clear path to a likely future result, just framed negatively.
Okay, next. Let's explore things that are maybe unlikely, or imagined, or even impossible in the present or future.
Right, stepping into the hypothetical world now.
This is the second conditional. It's all about creating an imaginary world in our minds, isn't it?
It really is. And the beauty of it lies in letting us explore possibilities that aren't real right now. Which brings up a really important question.
What's that? Why do we use a past tense verb for something that refers to the present or the future?
Yeah, that can be confusing. If I had $1 million. But I'm talking about now or the future.
Exactly. That past tense, like had or were, it's like a signal. It tells your listener, hey, we're stepping away from reality here. We're talking about something imaginary or very unlikely.
Okay, a grammatical signal for unreal.
Precisely. And it's wonderful for giving advice or just imagining how things could be different. You know, if you were talking to a friend about a tough choice, you might say, if I were in your shoes, I would consider waiting.
Right. If I were, not if I am. That signal is important.
Very.
So the structure uses if plus a verb in the past simple tense. And yeah, like you said, for the verb to be, we often use were for everyone in formal situations. If I were, if he were, if she were, if they were.
That's the traditional, more formal way, yes.
And then the result part uses would, or maybe could or might, plus the base form of the verb. So an example, if I were CEO, I would restructure the company. Clearly shows I'm not the CEO, just imagining.
Perfect hypothetical.
Or if we had unlimited resources, we could solve climate change. Again, hypothetical, not real today.
A big hypothetical, yeah.
And I often hear people say, sometimes more formally, were I in your position, I would reconsider.
Ah, yes, the inversion, removing if and swapping the subject and were, sounds quite polished.
It does. Same meaning as if I were, just a different style. Okay, so now, let's look back. Let's talk about the past, but differently.
Reflecting on what might have been.
Exactly. This next one helps us talk about regrets, or imagine what would have happened if something in the past was different. Things you definitely cannot change now.
The point of no return.
This is the third conditional.
Yes, and it's so useful for reflection, looking back at events that are totally finished and thinking about what might have changed if things had gone differently.
Like learning from mistakes.
Exactly, or just exploring alternatives. For example, after a big project, a team might reflect and say, if we had allocated more time for testing, we would have avoided that bug.
Ah, okay. Past condition, past result, both unreal.
Precisely. It lets us analyze why things happened the way they did and what alternative actions could have led to different results. It really helps in learning and planning for the future, even though it's about the past.
That's a powerful tool for learning, definitely. So the structure is if plus a verb in the past perfect tense.
Which is had plus the past participle, like had allocated, had known, had seen.
Right. And then the result part uses would have, or maybe could have, or might have, plus the past participle of the main verb.
Right. Would have avoided, could have helped, might have succeeded.
Okay, so an example. If we had launched the product earlier, we would have captured more market share. Describes a past situation that didn't happen and its imagined past result.
Clear example of a business reflection.
And you might also hear that more formal version sometimes, right? Like, had I known about the meeting, I would have prepared differently.
Yes, another inversion. Had I known, instead of if I had known, same meaning, just a bit more formal. It often emphasizes the condition.
Okay. Regrets, missed opportunities. Got it. Now, sometimes things are a bit mixed up.
Mixed up? How so?
Well, like, our past actions can have effects that we feel right now in the present.
Ah, I see. Connecting past and present.
Or maybe our present situation, who we are now, means we would have done something different back then in the past.
Right, connecting present conditions to past results.
This is where mixed conditionals come in, right? They connect different time periods in one sentence.
Exactly. And it's fascinating because these mixed conditionals really reflect how we naturally think about life, don't they?
Yeah, they do seem quite natural.
Our choices from yesterday, they genuinely shape our today. And who we are today might well have changed what we did yesterday if we'd been that person back then. They show very natural thought patterns. It allows for really precise expression of these complex time connections. It's often a sign of, more advanced language use.
Okay, so they show these deep connections. You said there are two main types.
Generally, yes. Two common patterns.
The first type links a past condition to a present result. What's the structure for that?
Okay, so for that one, if plus the past perfect tense.
Like the third conditional's if clause, if I had done something.
Exactly. But then the result part uses would or could plus the base form of the verb, referring to the present.
Ah, like the second conditional's result clause. Okay, so it mixes type 3 condition with type 2 result.
You got it. For example, if I had studied computer science, past condition, didn't happen, I would be working in tech now, present result.
Makes sense. Past action, present consequence.
Or another one, maybe from business. If we had invested in that technology back then, past condition, we would be market leaders today, present result.
Right. Past decision affecting the current market position.
Okay.
And the second type of mixed conditional, that links a present condition to a past result.
That's the other common mix. Here the structure is if plus the past simple tense.
Like the second conditional's if clause. If I were, or if I had.
Correct. But then the result part uses would have or could have plus the past participle, referring to the past.
So type 2 condition with type 3 result. The other way around?
Exactly. For example, if I weren't afraid of heights, present condition, but I am, I would have climbed that mountain, past action I didn't do.
Okay, my present characteristic changing a past action.
Or if she were more organized, present characteristic she isn't, she wouldn't have missed the deadline, past event.
Her present personality affecting a past outcome. Wow, these really do help show very complex relationships between time and reality.
They absolutely do. Very useful for nuanced expression.
Okay, now, even advanced learners sometimes, make small mistakes with conditionals. They can be tricky.
Oh, for sure. Some patterns are easily confused.
So let's maybe look at a couple of common mistakes and how you can fix them, just to build confidence.
Good idea. Awareness is the first step.
A really common one, I think, is putting will in the if clause of the first conditional. You might hear someone say, if you will study hard, you will pass.
Yes, I hear that quite often.
It sounds almost right, but it's not quite standard, is it?
Not in the typical first conditional structure, no.
Remember, the if part is the condition, and it usually takes the present simple. The will belongs in the result part.
Right.
So the correct way is, if you study hard, you will pass.
Exactly. And it's interesting why this mistake happens.
Why is that?
Often it's because in the learner's first language, a future tense is used in the conditional if part. So it's a direct translation issue.
Language interference.
Precisely. But in English, a good way to think about it is, the condition, even if it refers to the future, is kind of presented as a simple possibility now. And then the result follows with will. It's a small difference, but important for sounding natural.
Okay, good tip. Now, another common slip-up involves would in the second conditional's if clause, like saying, if I would have time, I would travel.
Yes, that's another frequent one. That would in the if clause feels tempting sometimes.
It does, yeah.
But it's generally incorrect for the standard second conditional. Remember, it's the past simple tense in the if clause, like had in if I had time, that signals we're in that hypothetical imaginary world.
Right, the past tense creates the unreal signal.
Exactly. And then would correctly shows the imagined result in that world. So the pattern is key. Past simple in the if clause, and then would plus base verb in the main clause. It consistently signals imagination, not reality.
Got it. So if I had time, I would travel. Okay. The third conditional can also be tricky for many learners. That past perfect would have. It's complex.
It is structurally complex, yes.
Sometimes people might say something like, if I would have known, I wouldn't have done it.
Right, mixing up the if clause structure again.
This one can definitely make you pause. The correct structure needs the past perfect in the if part.
That's the key. past perfect.
So it should be. If I had known, I wouldn't have done it. Think had known, had seen, had gone for the past perfect in that if part.
That's right. And what's interesting here is that learners sometimes actively avoid this complex form because it feels difficult.
Yeah, I can see that.
But understanding it really unlocks a higher level of expressing past regrets or hypotheticals. A good way to tackle it is to break it down. First, just practice forming the past perfect tense itself. Get comfortable with had plus the past participle.
Okay, master that first.
Then practice putting it together with would have for the result. And, thinking about real regrets, things you genuinely wish had been different in the past, often helps make the structure more memorable and easier to use.
Like, if I had set an alarm, I would have woken up on time.
Yeah.
Connecting it to a real feeling.
Exactly. It clearly links a past event you can't change to a past outcome you also can't change. Makes it stick.
The key, really, to all of these is just practice, practice, practice.
Absolutely. Consistent exposure and use.
Use these examples. Try making your own. Build that confidence and make these correct forms feel natural for you. Okay, so to help these rules really stick, let's talk about some memory aids. Clever ways to remember them. Mnemonics, I think they're called.
Yes, ways to make the patterns easier to recall. Very useful.
Okay, so for the zero conditional, you could think always plus always.
Simple and clear.
Both parts use the present simple because it's always true.
Always true. Always present simple. Got it.
For the first conditional, maybe remember now plus will.
Okay.
The condition is in the present simple, like now, and the result will happen in the future.
Now plus will. I like that. Connects the tenses.
For the second conditional, think past plus would.
Past plus would.
Use a past tense form for the hypothetical if part, and would for the imaginary result.
Makes sense. Past form signals unreal. Would for the outcome.
And finally, for the third conditional, remember, had plus would have.
Had plus would have.
You use the past perfect had plus participle for the condition and would have plus past participle for the result.
That maps directly onto the structure. Very helpful.
Yeah, sometimes simple phrases like these can really help them stick in your mind.
Definitely. And you can also try a probability scale visualization.
Ooh, what's that?
Imagine a line, like a scale from 0% to 100% likelihood.
Okay.
The zero conditional is right at the 100% and total certainty. It always happens.
Right.
The first conditional is high up, maybe 70, 90% likely, a real future possibility.
Okay, problem.
The second conditional is much lower down, maybe only 10, 30% likelihood it's unlikely or purely imagined.
Unlikely, hypothetical.
And the third conditional is right at 0% possibility. It's about the past, which cannot be changed. It's impossible now.
Ah, I see. So placing them on a scale of how likely they are.
Exactly. It can help you choose the right conditional to express the level of certainty you feel.
That's a great way to think about choosing the right one. I also like the timeline memory method.
Explain that one.
Well, when you see or hear a conditional, just think about a timeline. Which part refers to the past, the present, or the future?
Mapping it to time.
Yeah. It helps you connect each conditional type to a specific time relationship. Like, the third conditional clearly looks back at a past condition and a past result that didn't happen. Placing it mentally on a timeline reinforces that meaning.
Visualizing the time connection. Good one. And maybe one more. A story-based memory palace.
Sounds intriguing.
Try creating a short story, maybe about a character making a decision.
Okay.
First, they make a plan. If I finish work early, first conditional, I'll go to the gym. Then they imagine another choice. If I had more free time, second conditional, I would take up painting. Then they think about a past missed chance. If I had applied for that job, third conditional, I might have gotten it.
Right.
And finally, connect past to present. If I had gotten that job, mixed conditional, I would be living in a different city now.
Wow, weaving them all together.
Exactly. It builds strong connections in your memory by putting them in a narrative context. Makes them much easier to recall and understand the differences.
Those are some really great strategies.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's think about how we use them. Does it change depending on who we're talking to, like formal versus informal?
Oh, absolutely. Register or formality level plays a big role.
How so?
Well, in formal academic writing, or perhaps very formal business communication, you'll sometimes encounter those inverted conditionals we mentioned.
Right, like should you need assistance?
Exactly. Instead of if you should need assistance,
Yeah.
removing if and flipping the subject and auxiliary verb should, were, had, it just sounds more formal, sometimes more concise. And we also use conditionals, especially would, for polite requests in professional settings, like, I would appreciate it if you could review this proposal. Very common and polite.
That sounds very polished, yeah. Very useful in business.
Definitely.
And what about informal situations? Casual chat?
Well, in everyday talk, we use contractions much more freely, don't we?
Oh, yeah. If you don't tell me, I'll keep asking.
Yeah.
Much more natural than, if you do not tell me, I will.
Exactly. And another interesting point, especially regarding American English,
What's that?
you'll often hear, if I was you, in casual conversation.
Ah, yes. Instead of if I were you.
Right. If I were you is the traditionally correct subjunctive form, and you'll still hear it often, especially in British English or more formal contexts. But if I was you is very common in informal American English. Neither is strictly wrong in context, but knowing the difference helps you choose what sounds most natural and appropriate for the situation.
That's really helpful. Knowing those nuances helps you fit in, sound natural, whether you're with friends or in a meeting.
Precisely. Adaptability is key.
So what can you actually do once you get really good at these? Once you master conditionals, are there bigger benefits?
Oh, the possibilities really open up. Mastering conditional usage, it allows for much more effective, strategic planning in business, for one thing.
Wow.
You can discuss potential scenarios, risks, opportunities with much greater precision. Instead of just saying, maybe the market will change, you can articulate specific possibilities. If the market were to shift significantly, second key, we would need to adjust our strategy immediately. It shows foresight, preparedness.
Okay, much more sophisticated planning.
And risk assessment, too. Evaluating potential problems. If we hadn't implemented those safety checks at third kin, we could have faced serious issues. And it strengthens client relations because you can discuss complex what-if scenarios clearly.
Right, and in academic work.
Absolutely key. For forming hypotheses, those educated guesses, if variable X is increased, first kind, then variable Y will also increase. For describing experimental methods, if the temperature were controlled, second kind, the results would be more reliable. And for analyzing results, discussing what might have happened differently, that precision is vital.
So essential for clear academic thought and writing.
Definitely. And beyond that, think about creative uses. Storytelling, making arguments, negotiations.
Persuasion.
Exactly. Conditionals let you explore what-if scenarios compellingly. Imagine if we could achieve this. You can build logical arguments. If premise A is true and premise B is true, then conclusion C must follow, and create inspiring visions for the future. If we all work together, first come on, we will make a difference. You can really use them to influence, connect, paint pictures with words.
Wow. So much more than just grammar rules.
So much more. They are fundamental tools for complex thought and communication.
Okay, so wrapping things up, what does this all mean for you, our listener?
Well, English conditionals might seem like just a set of grammar rules at first glance, but hopefully you can see now they're actually really powerful tools. Tools for clear, precise, and, sophisticated communication.
That's the goal.
They help you express all sorts of things: possibilities, regrets, plans, hypothetical situations, complex ideas with much more confidence and accuracy.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, mastering these structures isn't just about being grammatically correct. It's really about being able to think and therefore communicate with greater depth, greater nuance.
That's a great way to put it.
So maybe a final thought for you to consider. How might understanding these subtle differences between always true, likely, unlikely, impossible pasts, how might that change how you express your own ideas? Or even how you understand the world around you? When you consider different possibilities or reflect on past events, it kind of opens up new ways of thinking, doesn't it? It really does. Something to definitely think about. Well, we really hope you enjoyed this exploration of English conditionals today. Remember, learning a language is always a journey, right?
Always.
And every step, like getting a better handle on these conditionals, makes you a more skilled and confident communicator. If you want to continue learning with us, exploring more topics like this, please do subscribe to our channel. It really helps us a lot to know you're out there listening and finding this useful.
We appreciate it.
And if you have friends who are also learning English, or maybe just people who love to learn new things quickly, please feel free to share this with them. They might find it really helpful too.
Sharing is caring.
Definitely. And don't forget, you can find more resources, maybe some useful links to practice exercises or further reading about English conditionals down in the description below this audio.
Check those out.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you a really great day, and we look forward to our next learning adventure together with you.